called me and we got it.
I said, you did.
No, I did now, though.
Great, call me, you do it.
Wait, where did these MRIs come from?
They were, I forget where I found them, but I spotted them and then I saw they're yours, so give you the chance to toss them out.
I never remember having an MRI.
Well, I looked at them and it says you should be dead and whatever.
Well, a lot of people wish that, but,
There's another sheet under that, those are the refunds.
okay.
I think we finally threw out that picture of that lady because nobody would claim her.
Who?
It was an old picture of some woman.
Oh,
I
yeah?
don't know where it
Nobody
came
knew
from.
who it was.
Nobody would say that they knew who it
It wasn't
was.
even a color picture, it was up there for years.
Up where?
Right on the shelf where all the meetings
Yeah,
are
on
and
that
stuff.
table.
Oh, yeah. I had seen that. I don't know where it came from. It was just an old picture, probably Phil's found it. Water purification, $2,800. More chemicals, huh?
2,800, that's a cheap one.
I know. Is there more of these I have to sign individually or just this one?
Oh, just that one, please.
Oh, that's right. Let me see.
Thank you.
My goodness sakes. This lawyer here says that we got a $10 million life
Oh, that came
insurance.
for you too. So besides being dead, you're rich.
$10 million life
$10
insurance
million.
policy on it?
Yeah, all I probably gotta do is bail him $10,000 or something to get it.
A Canada-based law firm. And you must be jeez, an actual life insurance scam.
Yeah.
Yep. Asset management grant.
So I did apply for it, but you can't vote on it because it's not on the agenda. But I applied, we applied last
It's
year.
on the agenda,
Is
new
it?
business,
Yeah,
third.
Oh, somebody, oh, I did ask to put it in. I did apply for it.
okay.
There is money
Should we
that
vote to have you, to
to
do that?
apply for it, yes.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Okay, second it, all in favor?
Should we get denied this year, then I think in next year's goals, it would be a 1%er for me and Kerry to undertake that on our own and do it. I'll just get it done. It requires a lot of information inputting. It's literally going from building to building and each piece of whatever is in the building, inputting it into a giant database. On top of that, queued off of that is the vulnerability,
Vulnerability assessment?
yeah, and resiliency, which keys off of some of the information contained within that, which is due in another couple of years, so we'd continue on with that for another 1% as another goal.
But if you don't get the asset management grant, you're gonna get the work done anyway, because you
No
need it
matter
for the
what.
other parts.
Correct.
Oh, by the way, aye. So we did.
All in favor, aye. There you go. Okay.
When are you supposed to hear about it, if you get it or not?
It took forever last time.
Well, they didn't, they gave you a deadline to apply by, but they don't say
Right,
they're
yeah,
gonna
the
give you.
deadline was
right.
actually Thursday night, it wasn't Friday.
You have
so-
deadlines, they don't.
And she said that even if you put in right now, you can always pull it back out if they don't approve it. Because I let her know that you guys didn't meet until when.
Okay, that takes care of all the new business. This gentleman here, he's on the new business, I'd say. Are you here to,
Well, I heard that you guys talked about me last meeting.
we did
It's
what?
too late.
He's
That was
not,
last
he's Norman Ave.
Okay.
Oh, okay,
I was able to, I met with Tom at the zoning board of appeals meeting. He stated to go and find the deed from 1954, which somehow I didn't manage to do it. The woman at Plymouth County managed to do it. And there's a slight change in the garage to meet the easement, but the easement's spelled out black and white in the paperwork from 1954 that the water department put on file.
Do we have a copy of that? Because that was the,
I don't have a copy of it because I didn't chase down the deed, but I have the last, it started out as a 30-foot easement and then it shrunk down towards the end.
what is it in the deed?
15 feet.
Yeah, it's like 15 in one corner, 15 point.
I think what they did, I was looking at that, Ness was the original builder and subdivision owner,
Yeah,
and the town at that time, let's see, the subdivision was built in 1954, I think. Because Pinecrest Road was built about the same time,
yeah.
and I was 4 years old when my parents built the house up there. So, those easements went through.
Almost all the other easements were 30 and then they shrunk down there. And
Well, it's only because the others, where it's 30,
yeah,
it's wooded.
right.
And there is no house even near it. And I think what he did is to make sure that he had enough room to fit a house in there, they purposely shrunk it down to 15 feet.
Right.
And I think it'd be really dangerous to build any closer to that 15 feet because
Okay.
that's a 12-inch main. And if we ever get a break there, you're
See,
apt to lose your garage.
I've already spoken to a lawyer though, and the town has no choice but to follow that 15-foot easement. Otherwise, it's a breach of contract as well as punitive damages.
Right. So we're better off just staying there at the 15 feet and you too, you know, for your own
I
safety.
changed the
Change the
plans of
garage
it
to get it,
just so that I didn't hit the 15 feet.
Yeah. And be careful if you're encroaching on that 15 feet. I'm not gonna guarantee it's not right on the edge of the 15 feet.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that water main is like paper.
Yeah, it's the old asbestos one.
You could put a shovel through it, right, Wayne?
Yeah, yeah, yes. It looks like clay when you dig it up, so you never really know you have it until you start to see it fold around.
And that main connects directly to the bottom of the 2 water tanks. And it'll be unbelievable how much water you're gonna get.
Yeah, if you're out of 15 feet, I don't think there's no issue
yeah,
here.
how far are you going to the edge, from like your edge of foundation to the edge of the
Edge of the
easement?
foundation would be 15.3.
And the easement, so
The easement's 15.
just be careful digging. Well, it's just, this is not, you're not putting in a foot foundation, you're putting in a grade
take this
for a slab and grade. Right, it's just a garage.
Correct.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do about it.
No, it's not.
Yes.
Just be
Yeah.
careful.
I'm at a meeting right now.
Yeah, we got the contractor for the house that's right here. He went out back and he went to do a perk and he didn't dig safe it because he figured he was out in the woods. Well, that's where that main runs. He found it.
We can't talk about anything now until Rick comes back in.
Yeah.
We don't have a quorum.
Yeah, but it's not on the agenda, so you can't.
No, but we couldn't do anything about it
Right,
anyway
right.
without it being on the agenda, but I don't think there's much of anything for us to do
Right.
at this point.
No,
We
as long
have-
as you're out of the easement, but you're within your rights.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Ted locked himself out of the house.
No, can't break in a window?
No, it's my window. Okay, so we all set with,
I believe so.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
yeah,
Have a
And
good
we,
day.
and we have a record now on where that easement actually, what that easement
Yeah, I
actually
did
is.
find the drawings and.
Okay, so it's, I was gonna say, do we need a copy of what he has just for our, but if you already have found what it is.
Yeah, I already
Make a
found it.
photocopy if you want.
Yeah.
good luck and be careful.
Yeah.
That won't be
Are you
good
gonna
for
drive
you.
around back?
But I mean, if he's
Yeah,
putting in
or are you gonna
a
bring it?
garage,
No.
he's putting in a house foundation on the edge of it either, so they shouldn't get, that's
You're
kind
still
of.
going out 4 feet. That's right. 5 feet with the footing.
Space.
We'll be right there, so.
He's not digging past it, undermine it, so shouldn't. You know how deep that means would run, about 5 feet of cover?
I don't think it runs that deep.
Not that deep.
No. I've never had to put shoring in a hole when I worked on it, and I can stand up in a hole and look out.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you.
Good luck. Have a good night. Thank you.
Good luck. Okay, medicine and disposal testing.
Oh, I don't.
Anybody hear anything yet?
No.
All right, what I'd like to do is go up there and see the manager and talk to him during the week. Just go up there and see what he's been doing with his stuff. What do you think? He hasn't answered though, yet.
I mean, all we can do is ask.
Yeah, that's all I'm
Yeah,
gonna do.
it's not. Yeah, I don't think we can force them to tell us if they can.
No, but,
I don't think they ever did the testing that they were required to do, so that's why they've kind of gone silent.
I know, but we kinda got them over the barrel. They didn't do what they were supposed to do, and now we're just asking them
Right.
to take it off site.
So either go there or just ask them to come into a meeting.
I can do that.
I mean, maybe,
You wanna write a letter and ask them to come to the meeting?
yeah, just instead of trying to go and, you know, same thing, you're gonna go, they're gonna say, we didn't do it, nothing happens. If we have them come into the meeting and say, look, this is what you're supposed to be doing. And we found that paperwork, so we have that.
Yep.
Say, this is what you're supposed to be doing, we just wanna make sure it's getting
Right.
done, it wasn't, you know, for whatever reason.
What was it, yearly testing for?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was annual testing for a bunch of specific items.
I mean, if they have site wells drilled, we could probably help them out if they just want to reimburse us for the testing. So that when we do our quarterlies, we could just add that
Well,
in.
we could ask them, we could offer that when we
Right.
get them to come in,
Yeah,
but
if they come
use that as incentive.
It's
If we tell them to come in.
These would
we
be
can-
2.5-inch wells.
in. Right.
You have to pump them.
Yeah,
It's gonna take some work.
But at least get reimbursed for some of the time too.
right.
I mean, not just for the
Yeah.
cost of the test.
It might even be plugged up too by now. They've been
Yeah,
in there for a long time, so.
They may not even know where they are.
They're on that print down there though, I think. Aren't they in
And it
there?
might be in an area that you can't actually get to. I
Maybe.
think they're outside of the paved.
Yeah, that's, because it
So
drops
it'd be
off
off in
behind
the
the drops
overgrown
off.
areas. We're gonna, yeah, if we ask them to come in, say, look, this is why we wanted to talk to you about it, we can ask them about the medication stuff at the same time,
Yeah.
even though it's not really covered under the testing. But that's, the not having the test results and them not responding to you gives us a pretty decent case of, look, you have to come in and talk about this.
Okay, aquifer protection bylaw.
I don't think that has anything to do with me. I didn't put it on there.
Okay. These are probably just
How's
being
it
carried
carried?
over in case you wanna talk about them, that's all. The rate sheet, I mean, what I like to do is in the next week or two, I'll come in before the next meeting and we'll work on the rate sheet. Not the rate sheet, but the income, that,
Yeah, the thing to show the breakdown.
yeah, the breakdown of where the money came from, where it's going, how we end up with the surplus and stuff like that. 'Cause I moved back, I'm living here now, so not down in
Oh,
Duxbury,
okay.
so it's easier for
Easier.
me to come by during the day. Rate sheet, oh, I mean, just, replacement well.
I just saw something on their request for information, I just got an email from them, so some other engineers are working, that usually what happens.
From DEP?
No, from,
Oh,
Taylor
Taylor.
and
Engineers?
Howard, so they're requesting some information. I didn't get time to open it up, but they're still moving on it, and I know that the next one, the new water source, I don't think they're gonna do anything on that until we get past the replacement well, I think that's what he said.
Okay. New source,
Yeah.
and that's on the same subject, right?
Mhm.
And job description.
I haven't done anything on that. I'm trying to get through the flood, because flushing is coming up, so I'm trying to work a run sheet out, which is requiring a lot of time. There were some mistakes, I haven't made it all the way through the books, but I've documented their mistakes and sent it back to them and have them fix it.
Taylor and Howard.
Yeah.
Okay.
So currently, we're not gonna finish flushing this fall. We won't finish.
They will do what you can. Just move along as fast as you can. That's it.
There currently, I'm only 6 zones in, and there are 9 zones, so that's 155 gates that are opened, and then another 155 that are closed very periodically as you're flushing,
Yeah.
moving around. They also had us operating gates in Beacon Park and Matfield Woods, which I'm not gonna do. I don't feel comfortable touching their
I would
gates.
say those are
Those are
aren't
private.
ours.
Right.
We don't want to break a private
No.
gate.
We'll go in and flush the hydrants as it moves through that area, but I'm not gonna touch any of their gates, because I don't feel like going back in to fix them.
No, but then when you go in there, that doesn't backfeed again into our system.
No, it all dead ends.
It all dead ends in the
They
park.
were just
so-
doing it to try to get it street by street. I knew what they were doing, but I'm not touching their gates,
No,
because
that's-
they've never been operated since those parks have been built.
No, we don't wanna own the replacement of it.
No,
No.
and I can just imagine,
Well, that's the end of the old business. Does anybody have anything else that can be brought up?
I can give you an update on the GIS IT person.
Oh, good.
We met today on that committee to go over resumes. There were 14 people applied. We dropped 6 of them right out completely because it was only IT. No, there was no GIS on at all. Most of the GIS, almost all the GIS ones had no IT, but even the one that had IT in it, it wasn't significant. It was kind of marginal. And they decided we're gonna bring in the 8 people with the GIS for an interview. The committee actually recommends 3 people to Gagny to take to the selectmen. So, but in the next week or 2, we're gonna have the interviews done. Basically carried everybody with GIS experience. There's probably 3 of them that are.
yeah, you
At
could
the
see
top.
right, I only saw 2, and one was the guy with the IT. And even that, some of the jobs he had, why did he leave? It's,
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of
Yeah.
oddball stuff in some of those.
right,
But Ed Sarro is kind of back, I think he doesn't like the idea of the IT being included either. He thinks
no,
it's
he
gonna-
knows it's
it's
not.
gonna take a lot more than they were thinking to get that part of the job. So it seems to be focused more on the GIS, and people that were there seem to be kind of on the same
See,
page
we didn't throw that in.
till the end.
We want a GIS person. The town hall wanted to incorporate two positions in one, you know.
But it really seemed to be mostly just the selectman's office, the assessor, John Delano, conservation. Chris didn't really seem to be one way or the other, but the others didn't want, they want the GIS.
Yeah, because
Is
it's
what they
not,
want.
they're 2 distinct fields. They're not-
And they need it. Assessors, they start making changes, there's criteria that have to be followed. He wants to make sure that person knows. They've got to use it for that stormwater permit, which is, they've got a hard deadline, so they don't want to have any,
Right.
and you can't train somebody, we don't have people that can train GIS people.
Right.
We need someone who can do it.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's going in the right direction.
Good. Okay. Thank you for the update. Anything else?
No, can't think of anything. Come to me later on.
Sherry, do you have
Keep me
anything?
until
Wake
9
up in the
o'clock
middle of the
tonight.
night.
Oh, the other thing is, so when we start flushing, I'm gonna be going out with them. We're operating too many gates, so there'll be 3 crews out there, one just dedicated to flipping the gates open and closed. So that we keep track. There's too many gates getting opened and closed.
Okay,
So more than like that means I'm gonna accrue a lot of comp time, so I'm gonna manipulate my hours to try to eat up some of it, but.
okay.
Well,
It'll be
do what
what
you
it
have, this thing getting going with the flushing program, it's gonna be
Right.
important to make sure the routine gets done. that
Right.
the-
And make sure
after-
somebody
after-
else is learning it besides you.
Yeah,
Make sure that somebody else could go out there next year and run the program.
right.
Without
Well, once
you.
they see it, because before I mean, for many, if you followed the thing, you knew where you were going, but in this case, you're all over the place with gates and hydrants. It's not, it's all over the place.
Okay, well, somebody else should be able to learn it.
Yeah, that's why I've been spending my time making a run list so that they can follow it
Yep.
and know what, that's how I was catching the errors, because I knew what was open and what was closing. They're closing gates that never got opened, they're opening gates that never got closed. It was, I mean, they use the
Which they should.
program,
Yep.
so it's obvious that there were gonna be some errors.
And if you end up with any sections of town that have low water pressure or something and flows,
Right.
you'll know what it is.
And I'll see
There's
as
a
we're,
gate that was supposed to be open and it's closed.
right, as we're closing them, I'll see what we're closing off and can look to see that we're not shutting somebody off entirely.
Well, it's happened, so.
We should look, when that van comes up for replacement, we should look at buying the gate turner and the cleaner and everything on the trailer to get away from the van. The one in the van's never really worked properly. We have a lot of issues getting it running, getting it started. We've almost burned the van down, I don't know how many times.
Don't do that. Good way to get it.
Everything slides
way to
up
get a
towards
new
that exhaust
replacement
pipe.
All right. Whatever you want.
When is it starting?
We're gonna start, so we sampled today, we'll sample tomorrow. If our samples all come back clean, then we'll start next Monday.
And you got notifications going out to,
We'll have
Those
notifications
neighborhoods.
going out all over the place. The signs that Tommy talked about, it was $168 for a one-sided sign. I need 2, that's $300 and something dollars. I figured I needed about 10 signs, so I did not buy $3,000 worth of signs. I haven't made the plywood ones yet, because I just wanted to make sure that the plywood will obviously be a lot cheaper than
yeah,
the other ones would have been nice, they're lightweight and thing, but not at $320, and they could disappear during the night too, so.
I'll tell you what you should do. Buy a couple of them this year,
Yep.
buy a couple more next year. Third year, buy a couple more, and then eventually you'll get them.
Alright,
and the plywood ones will be.
And the plywood ones will be worn out.
alright,
You don't have to buy them all at once. All right?
Yep.
And then after about 8 years, you look like you're a professional.
yeah, well, I hope to be gone by then,
Easy.
but above ground.
Kerry, do you have anything?
Above ground.
No? Okay, next meeting?
Is
Are we going
Monday
for a
the
holiday?
16th, September 16th.
No.
Okay.
Oh, right.
Everybody got that? September
I'm
16th?
putting it in now.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that. All in favor? Aye. Meeting's over.